Welcome to the Millionaire Journey Podcast. The goal of this podcast is to guide and empower you on your journey towards financial independence. Here's your host, Len Yaney.
Today, my guest is Jose Garcia of GMHU. Welcome, Jose.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on. I've seen you all over social media, being in
That's
kind of
good.
the same circles, and apparently somebody's doing their job by constantly being in my feed. So,
Good. Okay. Can never over advertise, I guess.
yeah, definitely. Uh, I think Grant Cardone says uh, unsubscribing is the best compliment of a good marketing team.
Mr. 10X. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, like you mentioned my name on there. GMHU stands for Garcia Mobile Home University. By the way, we have two sister companies, as I call them. One invests and one teaches how to invest. So where I buy, I like to also give back. But 8 years ago, I got started in the mobile home industry. I used to say I watched too much real estate reality shows. I wanted to be the next big flipper, the houses and condos and kind of thing. But unfortunately, when you have no funds and no connections, it's a little hard to do. As well, I guess with anything, it took me almost a year just trying to get into the game, learning, and it never panned out. In one of the many RIAs that I visited, somebody in passing said, "Just do it with mobile homes." Got my attention. Kind of mobile homes, okay. I lived in one. I didn't think about investing in one, so okay, kind of just started looking into that. Same strategies I was looking to do in real estate. I thought a house is a house, so I looked into that. I Googled where to find mobile homes. And of course, mobile home parks started popping up. Mobile home parks. That's obviously where the majority of the mobile homes are, is inside of communities. So then I started to locate numbers. Let me call people. I would love to go back and hear my pitch. I'm sure it was horrible because I got no's left and right. But eventually I got a yes, which came almost shocking that somebody actually wants to sell me a mobile home and said, come next day, we'll look at a couple we have. And of course, 8 a.m. sharp the next day, I was there. I was ready. So, and sure enough, they had a couple. They were disasters. We call them fixer-uppers now. But to
Yeah.
me, it was like this. I saw potential, and I wasted no time. I jumped in it. Very quickly learned that the people I was trying to hire, contractors that don't want to work. So it ended up becoming a job real quick for me. I was the handyman suddenly. So of course, all the what ifs popped up. People telling you no, it's not a good investment, et cetera, et cetera. I just went against the tide, and I got it done. I said, I'm done with this. I'll rent it, and I don't want to see this again. But there was something about that one family coming by to look at it and giving me a deposit, and like the light, like, okay, so this does work. So one mobile home turned into 10 mobile homes that first year, all rehab by myself. Next year, I started doing rent to owns and just started growing, strategies with them. Today, we do Airbnbs, Section 8s, all inside of communities, by the way. Rent to owns, we have creative financing, just any strategy we can use, again, similar to real estate. And of course, fast forward 8 years later, we have over 900 mobile homes in 10 different states and scaling.
Wow.
So, and in that, I started coaching as well. I got my 10 books on top, all of them on Amazon. I'm not here to sell, but but they're all on Amazon. And yeah, just growing, scaling, connecting, meeting great people like you. So
Awesome. So 900 mobile homes not owning the park, correct?
correct.
So a few questions come up.
Mhm.
How do you, okay, so let's talk about actually how you sell them or rent to own. Like, how is it the way that you exit out of owning them or make money on them?
Yeah, so I want to be about a third of all of my homes as a rental because you are a landlord when you're renting. And the other 2/3 I like them as rent to owns. So putting them on the market is the same as you would really almost a vehicle. I mean, we're creating financing for somebody. Put it on the market, for example, 30K. We'll take 3K down as a down payment. We'll create monthly payments. Out of that monthly payment, you have obviously whatever amount of that goes towards the park because you have to pay lot rent, and then the other amount would go towards the home principal.
So what is it that you look for in the mobile home park to invest to buy a mobile home?
Sure. Good question on that. So we do invest in more so rundown parks, bringing them back
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and because again, that's where our need is actually needed. Is beautiful park with beautiful homes has no need for us. There are probably tenant owned homes. So
Yeah.
something more, maybe park owners that are starting out have a new park. We just picked up 36 one mobile homes in Aiken, South Carolina, between four parks in a park owner. The park is
Ah.
distressed. So us coming in and being able to take on those homes, it's going to help the park owner, help the community, help
Oh,
the
yeah.
market. So
So let's talk about like, okay, you're saying you bought 36 mobile homes inside of a park?
Between 4 parks, yes.
But okay, and is it one owner that sold it, or did you find them through the
It's
four
one
different
owner
owners?
that found us through one of my contractors' vans that has our writing on it.
Nice. And yeah, so we kind of obviously do this. There's times where some of our mobile homes will give away for free. We'll, some of them will sell for a very low price. There is room, and I think the trick to owning mobile homes is almost like I mean, I guess let's ask you what the trick is because you're the one with 900 homes. I'm like thinking of what the trick would be, but what do you think the key to being successful in owning 900 mobile homes inside of parks is?
Consistency.
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent, but you got to create the, and I hear a lot of investors the way they speak, and it's like if you're not creating a win-win, it's a selfish act. So
yeah,
when I approach park owners like yourself, you just said some homes you give away or some you sell for very little. Well, that's where I come in and add the value. Your value is not the mobile home that's run down costing you money. It's the lot rent under the mobile home that I can collect for you every month.
yeah. So how do you that was the other thought that I had is how do you control that expense, the lot rent, like from a landlord?
Yeah, so everything is a contract and agreement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have to put that in writing, and that's again a win for the park owners. That the homes that we own, that we're renting or have a rent to own, you won't have to deal with those people. There are issue, there are problem. If we have to evict them, we do. You will get the lot rent every month, so we put it together instead of the tenant or future owner going to pay lot rent and then paying us. That doesn't pan out very well. They'll stop paying you or stop paying me, and then we got a problem. So collecting one lump sum. And again, everything is in writing.
Yeah.
We have a very strict line where rent is liable to increase, which we know will increase. So when that ups, it ups on them.
When you say it ups, oh, it ups on the resident that lives there?
Right, right. Whenever the rent increase hits, it doesn't
Like a
affect
rent
us.
to own and stuff like
Right, right.
that?
Yes.
Hey guys, if you want to learn more about our deals we're investing in, go to our website and sign up for our free ebook, 10 Reasons Mobile Home Parks Outperform Other Real Estate Investments. We won't spam you. We'll just keep you updated on the podcast and the deals we're working on. Now, back to the show. So, what if a landlord were to drastically bump it up, like from like 500 to 700? How would that work? Like how do you stop that from happening?
I think I've only seen that one time, and it was in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm not going to mention the park, but they
Yeah,
just randomly, hey, it's like 150 increase. I was like, what?
yeah,
But so I don't do onesies, one deal here, one deal. Like I said, 36 mobile homes in
yeah.
one park. So we have a good relationship, and you
That's
got to have a
a great
communicate
relationship.
communication. If you're going to go up on lot rent, I'm okay with that, but give me notice so that I can give notice and
Yeah,
everything's on point. So because I don't want to be that one trouble tenant, I guess, that owns all these homes, and suddenly I'm the issue. So we
yeah.
play.
That is interesting, and I could tell you we would totally I mean, we haven't like, we bought this one park, 24 units and all park owned, and they're probably I would be glad to give them all away for free, you know?
Yeah.
And for the fact that I don't have to spend the money to renovate and then stabilize and all that, it pretty much immediately stabilizes the asset. Like,
Hmm.
it's a great deal for the mobile homeowner, and there is definitely money to be made. Like, if you look at every deal, like, even if we put about 10 to 15,000 into each unit, it would, you'd still be able to get, 25 to 30,000 sale price. And,
It's a good market.
that's yeah, it's like flipping houses, but it's smaller numbers, but you buy 30 at a time, then it's like buying a larger a bunch of houses is what it
Oh, it's a
really turns
portfolio.
into.
Yeah.
Yeah, portfolio, exactly. That's very interesting. Whenever we first started talking, I really wasn't expecting to talk about buying mobile homes inside of parks, but literally, I know that's the thing that got me started into mobile home world.
Okay.
I don't know who it was, but it was some guy on YouTube talk about buying mobile homes inside of parks and flipping them and stuff like that. So my first couple times in mobile home parks before that was where I was looking for $1,000 mobile homes, and they were abundant. They were everywhere,
Mm. Yeah.
and I got scared, but I could see there's people that do very well doing it, and there's guys that I know around the corner. I have a good friend that has a large park, and there's one guy in the park that owns 20 of them out of like 200 of them. So it's I think once you get to that size, it's like it starts to become almost like an insurance company. Something might break over here, but you can fix it with the revenue, and it
Yes,
turns into a good investment, is what I would say.
right. Absolutely.
And I also think that they also have a common respect for each other, kind of like what we were talking about before. If somebody has 20 park or units in your park, you're not really wanting to step on toes of each other. It's like, hey,
Yeah,
you want it to be clean, you want it to be, and you want to take care of that guy that's giving you about 10% of your rent.
yeah. And I mean, you know, nothing is perfect. We have
Yeah,
had parks. Where was it? It was in Kentucky somewhere. I don't even remember. What happened was the park owner there. We only had like 10 homes, I think, but the park owner just decided to sell. Like I'm going to sell the park, whatever reasons. And of course, the new owner wasn't a fan of having investors in his park. So that's where a relationship could shift. Obviously, we're going to butt heads from the get go just because you already have a negative for whatever reason, and we try to make that work. But the more I saw was like, yeah, this is just it wasn't there anymore. That relationship wasn't there working. So we actually ended up selling him the homes. So one thing again, is not to ruin each other. Like okay,
yeah.
not wanting us in the park is fine, but I'm going to sell the homes in. Now I'm going to make you the first potential buyer, and he did. He bought the home. So
So what is what's like a way, like, I guess, what do you look for, or what do you look for to not go? Like, if, like, what's a red flag for you to not go, and say, if you did see like a portfolio of like 20 homes that you wanted to buy, what would be the thing that would keep you from doing that?
very distressed markets.
Yeah.
I hate to call it out, Columbus and Georgia.
Yeah.
The rents are very low. So the way I like
Mm,
to do our blueprint, for instance, is let's say lot rent is 450. I like to at least clear the same or more than lot rent is. So in a 450 lot rent park, I want to be at 900, maybe a little higher. When you
yeah.
have markets that are very low on rental rates, but the lot rents are high, Columbus, Georgia, 400 to 500 a month, and we can only collect about 600, maybe 625. It no longer becomes there's no good
Yeah.
deals to be done. We can do flips, maybe wholesales, or try to help out the community, but from a cash flow, it just we would be collecting pennies on the dollar in comparison.
So you have 900 units, or mobile homes. Over how many markets is that in?
Over 900 mobile homes in 10 different states.
So how do you go about managing that? What's like, do you have like a management team, I'm assuming, right?
Mm.
Like, how do you go about managing them all spread out, like, over 10 markets?
Boots on the ground.
Yeah.
So I always like to hire somebody that lives in the community to be like, this is going to be my eyes on the field. I do have two managers, admins, VAs, and I've got to have a team for that. And it's not always easy. It definitely, when an eviction must happen, sometimes it means I have to send somebody from here in Georgia to go take care of it. But that's where I'm focused more on doing the rent to owns, so that I'm just
Yeah.
financing and I'm not so much a landlord.
What makes you decide whether you're going to finance it, or make it into like a be a landlord?
If it's communities where we have maintenance guys, I'll focus more on doing rentals because something breaks. I got my guy on site; he can go take care of it. If it's further out, or if it's maybe communities where we can sell for a lot more, some like real estate, some mobile homes here may sell for 25, and up north maybe 35. So something like that, I would probably go ahead and focus on a rent to own. But I keep my portfolio 1/3 rentals, and then the other 2/3 as a rent to own. So I kind of just pay attention to that.
Yeah, rent to own obviously feels a lot safer, more skin in the game. There's
Mhm.
it's almost like a, not quite like a bond portfolio, but if, like, as a park owner myself, I would say, once we moved from park-owned homes to tenant-owned homes, the resident base tends to be better. They take care of it. They'll put siding on
Mindset.
they'll add decks to their property. They'll
Yeah.
they'll do all kinds of stuff that normal resident, like renters, would not do.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, there's definitely a big difference in someone renting versus somebody owning. They take care of it like it's their own.
Yeah. So what would be the most you would pay for a mobile home? Like, are you looking at because you were saying more of like the distressed mobile home parks? So are you are you looking for do you have any mobile homes that are like close to new or anything like that, or is it mainly like the 1970, 1980 mobile home?
The majority of what we got is late 80s,
Yeah,
90s, and some early 2000s. I don't think I own anything over maybe 2005. I mean, so it is more
I don't
the
think I do either.
so no. I mean, I would have to see the home year, make, model,
Yeah,
condition, location, sort of thing to evaluate and say this is what I can pay for it. But typically, I don't pay more than 5,000 per home, and that's a high number.
yeah, yeah. I see that. Yeah, I understand, and that's kind of what the key to building mobile homes is having a good framer. You get a good framer in there, and you can pretty much do anything with the mobile home. It's a beautiful thing.
Right, right.
So, I guess let's talk about your mobile home university or GMHU. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, I have an event coming up, live event on the 19th of this month. I haven't done that in a while. Being focused on taking deals, and so that's early years starting into this. I was asked by a lot of people, "How do you do this?" So, you're always going to have people that are interested in it, and I kept getting suggestions of, "You should be teaching this. You should." Like, I'm not a
Yeah.
teacher. But one of my mentors said when I ran it by him, said, "You're not trying to teach them anything more than what you know. Just tell them what you know." And that's so it kind of just made it simple. So I started out by teaching people here and there. Didn't even charge them anything. And then it just evolved to let me create some systems, some coaching platforms, and of course, then we created the university, Garcia Mobile Home University, where people can go into different programs and coachings. We used to have Zoom lives and that sort of thing. So I now make it more so where if I am going to do events, it's going to be a group event at a community, walking them through homes and teaching them, the physical, everything it takes.
Awesome. Yeah, because really, you're not really until you start actually getting out there and looking at the product, you're really just reading a book. So
Yeah.
it's I could tell you that you can read lots of books until you start doing it. That's when you really start learning.
The real teachers out there. Yep. Yeah. You start finding stuff like this wasn't in the book. No, it wasn't. So,
No, they didn't tell me about this part.
yeah.
Cool. So where can people find you?
GarciaMHU.com. We have all of our and I'm everywhere, like you said at the beginning.
Yeah.
TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I have a very good team that posts every other hour, so we stay
Yeah.
very active. But any of those social media streams, just hit us, drop a DM, and one of our team members will connect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Millionaire Journey podcast. Please rate, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share with somebody you think would enjoy listening.